morning to be in the land of the living, to be here on the planet. God woke us up this morning and started us on our way. I'm going to give people a little time to get in, and then I am going to start. I am going to enlighten you today about an experience that I had over a 2 week period of time. And so I'm going to wait and see if some folks come in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It was a windy night here in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. Hope everybody's doing great today. And if no one comes in, well, the replay will be there for people to watch. I've been up now, I'd say for a couple of hours or so, and prayed, got in the Word, had a wonderful time this morning in the Word of God, just digging for nuggets all the time and just enjoying the presence of Almighty God. Like I said, I'm going to give people a chance, an opportunity to come in. I wanted to get on here this Sunday morning and make people aware of some things that I experienced. And I can't talk about nobody else, but I can surely talk about my experience that I had. And I know a lot of people are not going to like what I say, but that's fine with me. But things need to be addressed. I'm one that addresses things, and I'm not one to tuck things under the rug or just let it slide, or I'm bold enough to speak out and speak on things. And so this Sunday morning, I wanted to come in and I want to talk about these things. So I'm going to give people the opportunity to come in. Just a little bit longer and I'll start. I'm drinking Starbucks coffee this morning and it is really good. Good morning. I see some people coming in. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? How are you this morning? Let me see if I can pull this phone off of here and see your name. Andrew White, good morning. How are you? Thank you for gracing me with your presence on my live. I wanted to come in this morning and I wanted to talk about some things that I went through on a new job that I took 2 weeks ago. And see, people don't want you to speak out on things. They want to call you crazy. They want to call you this. They want to call you that. I took a position with the Oklahoma Department of Human Service and Investigations. And when I took this job, what was amazing to me was the training. When I got in training, I'm sure that Deputy Director David Clifton is not aware of these things that go on in training. I remember because I was a Christian, I was mocked. I was laughed at. The two trainers that were in the training room, they laughed at me. They laughed at me because I always talked about how good God was in the whole 9 yards. And I remember they couldn't even teach the training class for sitting there laughing at me. The two of them was just laughing at me and mocking me. And as I went through the building, you could just hear employees saying, from the time she stepped in here, I heard she was crazy. And I'm going to speak directly to Deputy Director David Clifton. It should not be like this when a new employee comes to work at the Department of Human Services. And I was mocked, I was ridiculed, I was laughed at in the whole 9 yards. And see, when you do something to me, I'm not going to sit back and be quiet. I'm going to bring it public. I don't work for you anymore, so I can talk about it. And this is what I came up with. If you treated me like that, how are you treating the parents of the children that you take? How are you treating them? And how many of these cases are actually valid? I seen young kids, what I would literally say young people, that were just brewing and boiling in their emotions and the whole 9 yards. And I seen one supervisor that was just fixed on taking babies. She had a fixation with babies. And I sit back and, like I said, I'm one to speak out. Ain't no fear here. You know what? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High abides under the shadow of the Almighty. Before I took this job, I had spoke with Kim Harris, which is over District 3 in Adult Protective Services, all the hell that I had been through. And right after, I'll get to that part, but I had spoke to Kim about it. Before I spoke to Kim about it, I had actually spoke to Mr. Jones, Russell Jones, and Russell Jones is over District 3. Russell had actually, I think, retired or went somewhere else, and Kim Harris took over. Kim, I have just nothing but positive things to say about Kim Harris. Kim Harris is a wonderful person. She's a beautiful person, and she treated me kindly. And so I had told her about some of the things that I was going through before I actually started this job. And even after the job ended, I spoke with Kim, and Kim was saying, Carrie, I'm so sorry. The lady that's over District 5, she was absolutely cruel to me. If you're that cruel to me and I did nothing, how are you treating these parents of the children that you take? Yes, I'm going to speak out. I don't work for you anymore. I can talk about this. I can talk about this and tell my truth and my experience. When I went in there, there were people that worked there. There were Black folks that spread lies all through that place. They talked about me like a dog. And you know what? You can call me crazy all day long, but you know what? I love the Lord, and I am not going to stop giving him glory and honor. I didn't go on my job preaching or anything like that. No, that's not what you do. I'm there to work. An individual that I work with, a guy, he was telling me at 4:20, you can go home now after we came back off of an investigation. And I said, no, they hired me to work here 8 hours. And I'm going back upstairs and I'm going to sit at my desk and I'm going to wait until 5 o'clock. Then I'll check out. I have integrity. I'm not leaving her. Well, we do it all the time. I'm quite sure you do a lot of things. I saw a lot of things that were wrong there. But I want to address the two trainers that laughed at me. Sitting there in a training class and you're mocking someone and laughing at them and literally crying sitting there. And the other people that was in that training room, they were just sitting there looking. And that's how you do people. This is how you run an organization. And the lady from the UK that was a trainer, there was a Black guy that I had issues with, and he was talking to her about me. And Deputy Director David Clifton has no idea any of this stuff is going on. And then even after I departed from there, they had the nerve to send me a survey for me to do. Well, I want to talk about these things this morning. There are a lot of people that have had their children taken with the Department of Social Services, Oklahoma Department of Social Services. I worked down on the 51st Street. It's south. It's I think 129th and 51st. I may not have that address correct, but it's in that area. So when I sit back and I looked at some of the things that I saw, not everybody there did this. Let me correct you. I want Deputy Director David Clifton to know that there were good people in there. There were people that were dedicated to their job, and they worked with integrity, and they did people right. They did the families right, the parents right. But there were some that were just obsessed with babies. And it made me wonder, why are you so obsessed with these babies? Shouldn't a parent have every right to take and do all that they can do to get their children back? Should they be laughed at, ridiculed, mocked, talked about like I was? That's not how you do things. And see, until someone brings light to this, nothing will ever be done about it. So when I was called up into the training room, and the lady that's over District 5 wanted to talk to me. She was rude. She was obnoxious. She had a God complex. She just, came at me. And you know what? And I sit there and held my composure, and I addressed her kindly and the whole 9 yards. There is no way that I did anything wrong, not one thing. And you know what? I sit back there and I watch these people. I watched them laugh at me. I had to deal with for 2 weeks laughing at me, talking about me. There was a gentleman, I don't know if he's the one that appears in the courthouse or what, but I tell you what, he sit back and he said, ever since she came in here, people was telling me she was crazy. And I'm like, who told you this? That's defamation of character. That is defamation of character. Who told you this? Who was in there telling you all of this? Where did this come from? And I want the Deputy Director, David Clifton, to look into this. It should not be like this. And then when I went out and I saw how some parents were done, and I was saying to myself, this is not for me. I have integrity. There is no way that I would ever do anything wrong. I'm not going to do something wrong. And like I said, there is no fear here because number one, God didn't give me the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. And my question is, how much did they pay you to do this? I mean, why did you do this? And I sit back there and I thought about this thing. And as a matter of fact, I called my attorney. And I would told him, I said, I'm absolutely shocked at what they did to me. And he said, well, did they give you a reason? I said, absolutely no. No. And so when you have a person that's over District 5, like this lady is, that does not care about anybody, rude as all get out. Yeah, I'm going to talk about you. You are nothing like Kim Harris that's over District 3. You can learn a lot from Kim Harris. Kim Harris is a caring person, but she does her job. She is a woman of integrity. I'm sorry, I can't say that about you. I cannot say that about you. And like I said, I only know how you treated me when I came up in there, and I know how the trainers treated me and how they sit there and they laughed, especially the one from the UK. They laughed so hard they couldn't even teach the training class. And I'm like, this is what goes on. And then to hear some of the conversations that some of the workers had about families and laughing at them. How do you do people like that? That is not what this job is about. That is not what the Department of Social Services should be about in protective custody and in investigations. Shouldn't be like that at all. So my heart goes out to the families. I can only imagine how some of them have been treated. And what I'm asking these families to do, if you experience any kind of what I've experienced, I am asking you to speak out. Go to Channel 2, go to Channel 6, go to Channel 8 in Tulsa. Tell your story. Tell your story. If enough of people complain about this, some change has got to take place. And like I said, you know what? The good thing about me is a job has never been my source. God is my source. He is the one that's my source. And so, I sit there, and as an older person on a tiny computer, the first thing that goes as you get older, and everybody knows that, is your eyes. And I have glasses, but some of that stuff is tiny, and it's not that I can't type, it's not that I can't do the job. And like I said, once I got up on the floor and was able to access the 2 big screens there, the computer screens, I was good to go. Doing my modules, taking pictures of them, made 100 on every one I did. Sit there, respectful to people, and the whole 9 yards. Who came in there and told you this stuff? Why did I have to be ridiculed for 2 weeks? And not everybody did this. Let me clear this up. From the security guard, the tall security guard, kind as he could be. The people at the security desk where I came in every morning, kind as they could be. Other people that worked there, kind as they could be. There were some people there that were just downright nasty. They had a God complex, a definite God complex. This is wrong. This is wrong, and until it's addressed, I know cases now, and I won't call attorneys names, but they have cases now where they're trying to take people's rights from them when their rights shouldn't even be taken. And so, no, you didn't want me to speak out. You thought I was going to go somewhere in a corner and cry and just fold up. I believe that God allowed me to come in there so that I could see what went on, so that I could see how parents and families were treated, mistreated. And believe me, I've seen a lot. I've seen people that weren't even doing what they were supposed to do. And like I said, until Deputy Director David Clifton takes and corrects these problems within the Department of Social Service in investigations where I worked, it's going to continue. It's going to continue. And so, you know what? I sit back and I look at this and my heart goes out to the parents. And I'm praying for all of you. And if there's a parent that has a case with a pending lawyer that needs someone to stand up for them, you can call me. You can definitely email me. My email address is Hall, Hall, Carrie, Carrie, 5454 at gmail.com. And I would love to talk to your attorneys. And it is just so wrong, so wrong. And as long as this stuff is not confronted, and I even remember, I remember coming into that conference room and my boss's boss laughing at me. Just literally laughing at me. And I'm like, you know what? If I had to laugh, it would be somewhere behind closed doors where nobody could see me. It surely wouldn't be up in front of somebody's face. And like I said, I'm not afraid of you. A lot of people are afraid of you. And a lot of you have God complex and you get a little power and authority and it goes to your head. I am not the one to sit down and back down when I see something wrong. When I see something wrong, I'm going to speak on it. And the trainer from the UK, you need to go ahead and spill your guts to Deputy Director David Clifton about the Black man that was putting all this stuff in your head, where you got all this from. What's done in the dark always comes to the light. And like I said, I am not one to sit back and not speak out on things that are wrong. Like I said, I'm praying for the parents. I am definitely praying for the parents. And see, Deputy Director David Clifton, they can tell you anything. I'm telling you what I experienced. And I'm quite sure if you went through that place, a lot of employees, and you start talking to people throughout that building from the third floor and the second floor, they would tell you that they also heard the same thing I am telling you. It is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I wonder how many of these cases were turned over to the DA's office that were actually shouldn't have even got that far. I question everything now after being there and going through what I went through. That is pure defamation of character. That is defamation to the highest order. How I was talked about, how I was laughed at, how I was ridiculed. But God knew that I had thick skin. And sometimes God will allow someone to go somewhere and to go into a thing so that you can see what goes on there. How many parents' rights were taken from them that shouldn't have been taken from them? How many of these people, they sit back and they don't want to do their job, so they write anything down on a piece of paper and half do a job. And I went out with this man on my team and he definitely was half doing a job. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, Deputy Director David Clifton. Not at all. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. not at all. And the things that we were taught in training, and not all my days were bad in training. I had good days. I really enjoyed the training class. But here's the thing, I didn't appreciate the two trainers sitting there laughing at me. And I definitely didn't appreciate the lady from the UK that was a trainer that went there, and you're listening to some man gossiping about me and talking about me, and you don't even get to know me. That's slander. That's slander to the highest order. That's defamation of character. And like I said, this should not be going on. It shouldn't be going on. And so I remember when I was called in the conference room, and for no apparent reason, I was talked to about several things. I won't go into that. And like I said, I can only tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Until these things are looked into. And the lady that's over District 5, like I said, you have no integrity at all. And I'm going to say it on a live broadcast. You have no integrity. Your posture towards me was so mean, so revengeful, so hateful. And like I said, nothing like Kim Harris over District 3. And like I said, you could learn something from Kim Harris. You could really learn something from Kim Harris. And so, like I said, by people keeping their mouths shut and not coming forward when they see these things that went on. I've seen a lot that went on that was totally wrong. Totally wrong. And when I started to talk about this, that's when I was like, oh no, we're not, we're getting you out of here. No. Things need to be corrected there. They really do. They need to be corrected. You are playing with people's lives. You are playing with children's lives. You are playing with families' lives. I experienced it. I don't have to lie. I know what I experienced. Would you ask me, if you asked me, Dr. Carrie, was everybody mean to you? Absolutely no. There are some beautiful people that are there, and I could name them for Deputy Director David Clifton. But then you have some that shouldn't be there. They should be fired immediately. Immediately. I remember encountering the young man in my training program that was going to get married. His fiance was sweet as she could be. He was as nasty could be to me. Abrupt, short, nasty. I don't know what he had heard or who had told him something, but he was nasty to me. Nasty to me. And running on his emotions, total emotions. And so this morning, people think that you're supposed to fold up, go in a corner, and die or dry up. God is my source. And the district attorney in Oklahoma needs to know about this stuff. Is everything coming to you? I know for a fact that the district attorney in Oklahoma is a Holy Ghost-filled district attorney. And I'm telling you, sir, if you would take a moment to pray and ask God to reveal things to you and open up things, I'm telling you, he would. And like I said, all these people that had a part in this, every last one of them, I'm asking very politely if Deputy Director David Clifton would open up an investigation into this. And in the people that I'm talking about, the emails, the phone records, all of that, I went to my place and I pulled my phone records, and they were asking me the individuals. I can't really go into that now, but I have their names and I have their numbers. How would I know their names or numbers? How would I know these Black people if I didn't know that they were doing this to me? Like I said, sometimes God will have someone step up in a situation and he will have them to pull the covers off of things that are done wrong. And that's what I'm going to do. And like I said, you can try to push it under the rug. You can try to call people crazy. I know there are families out there that have experienced the same thing that I have experienced, the same thing that I'm going through. And like I said, you met a woman that has tough skin. And I'm not one to run from the roar, I'm one to run to the roar. And so to call someone crazy, that's just not going to get it. You don't get off that easy by calling somebody crazy. And whoever this black man that was controlling this trainer from the UK and talking to her, her phone records need to be pulled, her emails need to be pulled, her text messages need to be pulled, all of that needs to be pulled. Every bit of that. It is wrong. You don't do people like that. You come in to be trained for a job and this is how you act. This is how you really act. And then I'm walking through going to different places that I have to do and doing my job of what I need to do. And you hear employees whispering about you because some black people started a rumor of defamation of character, all of that. That's wrong. It's wrong all day, any day of the week, it's wrong. But I thank God that I have tough skin and I was able to walk through this and gain so much knowledge. I saw things that shouldn't have went on. I saw things that should not have went on. When you have a job like that, you should have integrity. You should have substance. You should have values. You should have character. You should do your job correctly. You should. And to sit back and laugh at people and to talk about some of the things that I heard about the parents, I was just appalled. I was appalled. That's wrong. That's wrong any day of the week. These are people in our community. The whole purpose of DHS is to put families back together, not to tear them apart. And I remember this black lady, and like I said, as I got ready to leave that day, she came on the elevator. She looked me up and down. I knew who you were. I could point you out. If you were in a lineup, I could point you out. And you start all these rumors, you and this man on a new job that I start. Why? Please answer my question, why? And like I said, people that are in higher positions, Deputy Director David Clifton, and others that are in the hierarchy of the Department of Social Services, they need to look into this stuff. They really do. And see, if you want to catch a person, check their emails, personal work, their personal phones, what they text back and forth, who they were talking to, and you will see that what Carrie Hall is telling you is absolutely whole truth and nothing but the truth. This should be addressed. It should be addressed. And I'm telling you, I'm going to this coming week to the district attorney's office, and I'm going to sit down and have a talk with the district attorney's office. This is wrong. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. So you can come against me, you can talk about me, you can call me whatever you want to. But the one thing I have is integrity, something that you need to get. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is looking. I'm going to say it again. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is looking. And to be forced into, and I'm sitting there doing my work, and like I said, I can show Deputy Director David Clifton all of my modules, me making 100 on them, and the whole 9 yards, looking forward to going into core training. And then called in there and say, okay, you got a choice. You either quit or we'll fire you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some dirty stuff over some he said, she said that you did something. And so, like I said, some of these people, you don't have immunity in a situation like this. You don't have any immunity. This is totally wrong. You need to go back. You owe me an apology, a public apology. especially the two trainers that sit there and laughed at me. I mean, it went on for a long time. They were just crying, laughing. That's not professionalism. That's not how a person should be treated. And like I said, I hope some people are looking in authoritarian positions are looking at this video. You want to call somebody crazy? You want to call them all these names because a black man, because of a situation that I had with a black man that I want nothing to do with, and he's got a new girlfriend that's sitting here flapping out all these lies. And you sit back and you're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to be the agency that sit back and do the right thing by people. And yet and still, you sit there and laugh at people. You spread rumors throughout the whole entire building. And employees, a lot of employees say, yes, I heard that. They'll tell you they heard it. I heard it with my own ears as I walked by. And these people keep their jobs? I don't think so. I don't think so. And like I said, then you send me a survey. That's what got me. I said, wow, send me a survey, huh? Okay. Send me a survey. I was like blown. I was just blown. And you know what? That just goes to show you somebody can call and say anything that they want to say. It doesn't have to have any validity to it, any type of truth to it. It can be rumors. It can be somebody that's jealous of somebody. And I'm here to talk to that black woman. I don't want that man. Leave me alone about that crazy man. Leave me alone about him. He's with you. Evidently, you're not happy in your relationship or something's going wrong that you have to constantly come against me. So I wanted to make this video, and I'm making it boldly this Sunday morning. Because number one, unless things are addressed, unless things are brought out, you know what? I'm telling you, they will continue on. And the two trainers, you learn something from this. When you are in a professional environment and you're training people, you don't sit there and laugh at them in their face for a good 15-minute laugh. Just sitting there, just crying, laughing. That's wrong. Who told you this stuff? Who told you? As soon as I left out of there on that Thursday, I called Kim Harris, District 3. And I said, Kim, this is what she said. Carrie, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And these individuals brought this mess right to the job. Right to the job. And I'm like, this is so wrong. So wrong. And like I said, you know what? I am one to address things. I'm not one to run from things, and I don't hide. If you haven't done anything, you're not afraid of DHS, you're not afraid of the DA, you're not afraid of the FBI, the police, the CIA, or nobody else. You didn't see any fear in my face because, number one, I knew the rumors that were going around had no validity to them anyway. And they shouldn't have never been going around in a workplace when, number one, I hadn't even been there 2 weeks, barely 2 weeks. And this is going on. And you allowed it to go on. Laura, the trainer, and the other trainer, you allowed this to go on. Tabitha, you allowed this to go on. All of you guys allowed this stuff to go on. It's wrong. You don't do people like that. I have more integrity than all of you guys put together. And when you go out to people's homes, you treat them with dignity and respect. I just saw things, I'm telling you, I would love to talk to Deputy Director David Clifton, because I could tell him some of the things that I saw that I knew were totally wrong. I had a foster care home in the state of Oklahoma and North Carolina for a long time. And I know what's right and I know what's wrong. You always conduct yourself as a professional. You don't conduct yourself like somebody that is 13 years old. That behavior of laughing at me and sitting back in the conference room while we're in training, you're just sitting there laughing at me. And you just, you're just sitting back there just hee-hawing to the point where you couldn't even teach the class, just laughing, mocking me. That is defamation of character and slander all over somebody that don't like me. And this black lady, this heavyset black lady, you need to get over it, girl. If you're coming against a 71-year-old woman, I can't help it that I look like this. I really can't. You know why I look like this? Is because I walk upright before God. I take good care of myself. Yes, I got a shape. Yes, I look good. And I can't change any of that because I'm going to be Carrie, authentically me, any day of the week. And I'm not a narcissist. So your maneuvers and your attacks, even on Friday, when I had to go out and take some care of some business, and all these people were behind you, and you were in that little white utility vehicle. Yeah, that's you. That's you. You were the one that were chasing me down all over Tulsa. You need to get with a psychiatrist and sit down and work through your problems. Nobody wants your man. If your man looked at me and said, wow, I made a mistake, Carrie is a better person to be with than you, he said the right thing. But I'm here to tell you, I don't want him. I'm not interested in him. He's not godly enough for me. God promised me a godly man. And you know what? I don't have a problem staying by myself. And you thought you hurt me because you did this stuff. And I'm without a job, but you're still working. Let me tell you something, baby. You didn't hurt me at all. You know what? Rejection means redirection. If God is taking Carrie from something, trust me, baby, he's taking me to something. And like I said, people are going to find out about you. They're going to be able to see after this video your insecurities, and I don't know how that man stay with you. Do you have your family members pull guns on him to make him stay? Because I'm going to tell you, if it was me, I wouldn't be nowhere around you. You are the most insecure, a toxic woman that I have ever encountered in my entire life. You commit crimes and people cover it up. You feel like you can take your money and do just buy your way out of everything. Detective Aaron Phillips, whom I had been working with, I had asked him to pull video footage of me coming home from work right there by Hamilton Elementary School. I knew normally when I come home from my job from 51st Street off I get on the Broken Arrow and I go to 169 North. And I take 169 North all the way up to the airport exit there. I get on it, which is Highway 11. I take Highway 11 to Sheridan Road. Right when I got off of Sheridan Road and make that left to come towards my house, on my street that I turned down, I saw him and her. So I said, okay, I'm going to set him up because I know he's going to come after me, harassing me and stalking me. So what I actually did was went straight up Sheridan to the next available street, made a right, came the back way around Hamilton Elementary. And sure enough, there he was. There he was, threatening, intimidating, doing all kinds of hand gestures towards me. And this is what I've encountered for weeks, years, months. And I'm going to tell you I went down to Jarman Elementary School. We went down there to investigate, to talk to two kids in an investigation. And the individual was sitting out there in the same black utility vehicle that I had told different individuals about. Yes, he stalked me. Yes, she stalked me. Yes, she lied. Yes, she steals. Yes, she makes things look like, there is really something when nothing is really going on. My life is an open book. I have nothing to hide. Nothing. And anybody that's investigating something, whether it be Detective Aaron Phillips from the Tulsa Police Department, to the FBI. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? You need to look at this woman's jealousy. She doesn't need to have any kind of job in law enforcement or DHS or nothing else, any of them. Because if you take and do me like that, that makes me, I'm intelligent. I'm an intelligent human being. I tell you the one thing about me, I may not be up to par with you young people on technology, but intelligence, I'm always there 120%. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why aren't these detectives looking at this stuff? Why aren't they looking into this? Why are they not sitting back and taking and going through all of these video footages and stuff? Videos don't lie. When I lived at 62 North Lewis, videos don't lie. Why weren't they gone through? You would have seen them coming in and out of my apartment. All the things that should have been done weren't done. And you expected me to crumble, fall apart, get somewhere in a corner and cry. Well, I'm telling you, evidently, somebody told you wrong about Dr. Carrie Hall. That's not a part of my makeup. That's not who I am, and that's not who I will ever be. I am one that stands up for what's right. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And people in these positions use their position and their authority on their jobs to take and hurt other people. And this is the point I'm making to Deputy Director David Clifton. This is what I'm saying to you. It should not be. You should hem up Laura in training and the lady that was with her, captain, whatever her name is. You should hem them up. Who told you this stuff? Who brought that to the workplace? Who started these demonic rumors? This is my life you're playing with. And you know what? You're playing with the lives of other people. People that have had their children taken from them. People that have, to fight to get their kids back. This needs to be looked into. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. And so, like I said, you thought that you were going to deal with somebody that wasn't smart or somebody that wasn't educated. Like I said, I know my weaknesses. Technology is really my weakness. I am not up to par, but I tell you what, I'm getting ready to take a computer class. I bet I will be up to par so that the technology can meet my intelligence. And I'm not a narcissist by any means, but I'm one to stand up for what's right, stand up for the people, stand up for the families, stand up for the kids, the whole 9 yards. And I want to address Tabitha. Tabitha, the Lord had already let me know what you were doing when you sent me down to Jarman. That's why I went. You didn't see me not go. Walked up in there just as boldly as bold could be. Just a bunch of lies. A bunch of lies. And the same man that brought that stuff to you is the one that was sexually abusing me and other women in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was doing that. And a family member of his, allegedly, is into child trafficking. Nah, you don't want to hear this Sunday morning. You want to call me crazy. I'm not crazy at all. And that's why Detective Aaron Phillips told him this woman is not crazy. No, I'm not Detective Phillips. And I like him because he goes by the book. He goes by the book. Every license plate number that I turned into the Tulsa Police Department, these were the people that were stalking me, harassing me, breaking into my home, doing all kind of wicked things. And then last night, I seen that same dark-skinned woman with all these kids, taking kids out of an apartment complex here, out of one of the apartments here, putting them into a utility vehicle. What are you doing? What are you doing? Allegedly, it looks like trafficking to me. I could be wrong. But I tell you what, they got cameras here. And Detective Phillips, as well as a sex trafficking unit, you need to look into this stuff. Quit dismissing people as if they're crazy. People aren't crazy. This mess has been going on a long time. A lot of money. Money was paid out. Money was paid to people to lie. Don't let her get through the training course. Don't let her do that. But I was smart enough to show Deputy Director David Clifton all of my modules. I did 100, 100, 100, 100. I sit there, didn't bother nobody, did my work. Even when I was told to leave at 4:20 and put down 5 o'clock by my coworker, I told him, no, I'm not doing that. That's not integrity. They hired me to stay here from 8 to 5. I'm going to go back to my desk. I'll work on a module to 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, that's when I'll check out. This is going on. If I experienced this and I went through this, and then you tell the lady that's over District 5 a whole bunch of lies, and she sits there and want to punish me for somebody else's behavior, that's not my behavior. Why am I getting punished for somebody else's behavior? Whether it be my daughters, whether it be somebody else, why am I getting punished for someone else's behavior? What's done in the dark will come to the light. And like I said, most 71-year-old women, you think that they are out of their minds, that they are disabled and the whole nine yards. I took a cognitive test. I got every picture of it, scored high on it. Don't play these games. Wrong woman to play them with. You're wrong in what you did. You're wrong in how you treated me. You are wrong, 100% wrong, in sitting there and laughing at people right in their face. No kind of respect, no kind of dignity. You're wrong. You are wrong. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, Lord, I can't believe this. I said, but you allowed me to come here so that I could see something else to put on my prayer list to pray about. My life is an open book. I'm not going to get 71 and become a criminal. Never been in trouble a day in my life. And I'm going to wait till I'm 71 to become a criminal? Just because a man I dated, I told him no, and I'm still telling you no. All the hell you done put me through, it's still no. No is a complete sentence. And you met a woman that's educated. You met a woman that is going to stand up to you. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You have abused your authority on your job. You are totally out of line. You just happen to do it to the wrong person. You've been doing this. I can tell you've been doing it for a long time. You just did it to the wrong person. You didn't think I'd open my mouth and say anything about it. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Am I going to say all bad things about the trainers? No. They had good qualities. They did a lot of stuff that was good. But this stuff of sitting back and listening to he said, she said, that they did it, that this one did it, that is not true. That is not true at all. So I wanted to come on this Sunday morning and I wanted to talk about this, and I talked about it, and I'm happy that I talked about it. I don't work for you anymore, so I can tell the truth. I have no reason to lie. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I would say to the trainer from the UK, you better hurry up and get yourself together, because I'm going to tell you, maybe your job. You need to tell Deputy Director David Clifton who it was that called you and told you this stuff. How did this stuff start circulating? 4 jobs I've had. Quality control inspector. They came to that job with that mess and they let me go. The next one that I had, I'm trying to remember. At Union, came down there with that mess, let me go. Then another one, Director of Education, came down there with the same lies and mess, and I'm let go. And now this one, because some jealous woman is jealous of me. Honey, if you think I'm bad at 71, baby, you should have seen me in my 20s. I stopped cars in my 20s. And like I said, I'm not a narcissist. But this is how you look when you take care of yourself, when you walk upright before God, when you live a holy life. And see, you put your hands on a touch me not, something that God has his hand on. Call me crazy all day long. I'd rather be crazy for Jesus than out here in these streets or having a position and sitting back and using my job to hurt people. That's not what it's about. People should be given respect. These families should be given respect. When you walk into their home and you talk about something that happened and take their children, you should treat them with respect and dignity. I think a lot of cases where these babies have been taken and put into Black homes, they need to be looked into. I seen something and it shocked me when I seen it. And like I said, you met the right woman. I am not one to sit back and keep my mouth shut. That's why things never change, because of the simple fact people don't speak out. They're afraid. They keep their mouths shut. So you are going to have to explain to the deputy director, David Clifton, why you were sitting there laughing. Who was this Black man that called you that did not want me to get this, stay in this position? I hope this doesn't go down. I'm gonna give this. I don't know why I did it there, but I'm back live now. But what I told them this, they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. It's not only him. This was Adult Protective Services that was harassing me. Marcus is one that works in Adult Protective Service. So Marcus, you need to explain to Chief Deputy David Clifton about all these Black people that had a part in. You know them all. So again, that number was 405-250-9614. And it's just wrong. Totally wrong all the way around the board. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. And see, when Marcus, when I sit back and tell them about Marcus, hopefully Marcus will be smart enough to tell them the truth and give them the names of these folks, because this stuff needs to stop. It needs to stop. You are sitting here ruining people's lives. This is my life. You're ruining people's lives. Call people crazy all day long. Don't make them crazy. Those are just words that you're speaking. I'm going to speak out and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that was the guy that was running me down. The very one that was out in the parking lot while that Black man was in Jarman, the day I came down to Jarman Elementary to sit there and interview 2 kids there at that school. That Black man sitting in the parking lot, that's the one that had ran me down. That's the one that had sit back, tried to pull me in a van. That is the one. Did you tell your boss that? Did you tell him what you did to me? And not only me, I'm hoping some other women will come out and not be afraid and tell the friggin' truth. So like I said, I want to come on this Sunday morning. I want to get this off my chest. It's off my chest. And now it's gone viral on YouTube. Have no problem with it at all. That's my character. That's my reputation that you're trying to ruin. And calling people names and stuff. People have to meet criteria to go into places and the whole 9 yards. I mean, this guy done tried to threaten me long enough with this mess. I am not afraid of you. And I'm here to tell you I'm not afraid of you. And I want to take a stand because I seen a lot of things that were wrong. I heard a lot of things that I knew in my heart. That is not what the kind of person I'm going to be. I'm not doing that. Because when you get caught doing that stuff, you go to jail. So, as always, guys, you are listening to absolutely the best and inspirational podcast. You are listening to the one and only Dr. Carrie Hall, broadcasting live on these YouTube cyber streets here in T-Town, Oklahoma. I want to say again, good morning to Andrew White. I want to say good morning to... is that, let me see, it's so little. I can't make out that name. It's so tiny. But anyway, I'm getting ready to go on the laptop and try to get this thing to the point where I can see names and really call them out. It's so hard on this tiny phone. But anyway, guys, you have an amazing Sunday. And don't be to tell your truth. Don't be ever afraid to stand up for what is right. When you stand up for what's right, you don't realize how many people you speak for. There are people that would never come out and say what I just said because they're terrified. And I know that people have been mistreated. I know that they have been done wrong. And so this happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. And like I said, I pray that Deputy Director David Clifton looks into this. And see, the lady over District 5, she didn't have anything to say about them laughing at me and the rumors in the workplace and all the stuff that was going around. Who started this? Again, I want to ask, who started this mess? Who started telling these lies and these rumors? But anyway, not my problem. As they say, it used to be a little thing that was going around on Facebook. It said, not my monkeys, not my circus. And it's the truth. You got the problem. Your agency has the problem. And you need to clean up these problems. You need to go through there, like I said, go through emails, text messages, private phones, work phones, private email accounts, work email accounts. And start talking to people, everybody in that building, and ask them, what did you hear? And believe me, you'll get the truth. So have an amazing Sunday. I'm getting ready to go in here and bake this cake. I got my ribs on, making some potato salad and some green beans and ribs today. That's what I wanted. And making me a cake. Get ready to go in the kitchen and make a cake. So God bless you guys. Thank you for listening. Have an amazing Sunday. Talk to you soon.